One of the reasons Semiu has one of the most creative powers in Gachiakuta is because her ability doesn't look impressive at first. When most fans think of powerful abilities, they think of giant explosions, crazy weapons, or someone cutting buildings in half. Semiu's vital instrument is literally a pair of glasses. That's it. The first time Rudo meets her at Cleaner headquarters, she looks like nothing more than a receptionist sitting behind a desk. Then she activates her glasses and immediately starts seeing things about Rudo that nobody else can. Right away, Kaya shows that Semiu's power isn't about raw destruction, it's about information. What makes the ability so interesting is that it attacks a problem from a completely different angle than most fighters in the series. Rudo smashes things, Engine overwhelms opponents with versatility, Rio turns scissors into one of the deadliest weapons in the story. Semiyu, meanwhile, gathers information. When Rudo first arrives at headquarters, she examines him and notices things that even he doesn't understand about himself. She can detect abnormalities, evaluate a person's condition, and even sense things that seem invisible to everyone else. The really cool part is that her glasses aren't just a scanning device. As the series goes on, we learn that her visual abilities are much deeper than that. Her vital instrument enhances her perception to an absurd level, allowing her to process movement differently than normal people. Instead of becoming physically faster, she becomes mentally faster. She can perceive events in a way that makes everything around her appear slower. That's a clever twist because she's not actually stopping time, she's just seeing so much information so quickly that everyone else looks slow. That idea becomes incredibly obvious during the Cleaner headquarters attack. A group of marauders learns about Rudo's existence and launches an assault on the headquarters. While most series would turn this into a huge team battle, Semiyu practically handles the situation herself. She walks outside and absolutely dismantles the attackers. The funny thing is that she's doing it with what appears to be a support type ability. On paper, enhanced eyesight doesn't sound scary at all. In practice, it makes her almost impossible to touch because she can see everything coming before it happens. Another reason her power stands out is because it perfectly matches her personality. Semiyu is organized, efficient, and always seems like she's 10 steps ahead of everyone else. If her power were something flashy and destructive, it honestly wouldn't fit her character. Instead, she has an ability built around observation, analysis, and understanding people. Even when she's sitting at the front desk answering calls and assigning missions, she's basically doing the same thing her vital instrument does, gathering information and figuring out what everyone else needs to do next. The series also hints that her ability has some genuinely terrifying potential. At one point, she becomes concerned about something growing inside Rudo and describes it as something like a curse. Nobody else is noticing these details, but Semiyu can. That means her glasses aren't simply helping her see physical movement, they're helping her see deeper truths about people. The more the story reveals about the world's mysteries, the more important that kind of ability becomes. That's why I think Semiyu has one of the most creative powers in Gachiakuta. Keirana took something incredibly ordinary, a pair of glasses, and turned it into one of the most versatile abilities in the entire series. It helps with combat, investigations, intelligence gathering, evaluating allies, predicting danger, and uncovering secrets. The best powers in Gachiakuta tend to take everyday objects and turn them into something extraordinary, and Semiyu might be one of the best examples of that philosophy. She doesn't need giant attacks or flashy transformations to be dangerous, she just needs to see what everyone else misses. What's even crazier is that Semiu's power makes every scene she's in feel different from everybody else's. When Rudo fights someone, you usually focus on impact. When Engine fights, you're trying to figure out what ridiculous thing his umbrella is going to do next. But when Semiu gets involved, the focus shifts towards discovery. Suddenly, the question isn't, can they win? The question becomes, what is she seeing that nobody else can see? That's actually pretty rare in battle manga. Most abilities are designed around creating action scenes. Semiu's ability creates mysteries. Every time she notices something unusual, readers immediately start wondering what it means. The power itself becomes a storytelling device. Instead of only helping her fight, it helps move the plot forward. You can see this especially in her interactions with Rudo. From very early on, Semiu seems to understand that there's something fundamentally different about him. While many characters are reacting to Rudo's actions, Semiu is paying attention to what he is becoming. That's a huge distinction. She's looking beyond the present moment and noticing changes that other people completely overlook. The visual design of the ability is also incredibly smart. Glasses are something people associate with intelligence, observation, and analysis. So the moment readers see Semiu adjusting her glasses, they already understand what kind of character she is. Kairana managed to connect the character's appearance, personality, and power into one complete package. Another thing that makes her ability stand out is that it rewards intelligence. A lot of powers become stronger because the user trains harder or it hits harder. Some use power becomes stronger depending on how she interprets information. Two people could theoretically have the same ability, and Semiyu would still probably use it better because of how observant she is. What's funny is that she often feels more dangerous than characters who are objectively stronger. There are plenty of fighters in Gachiakuta who could probably cause more destruction than Semiu, but destruction isn't always the most threatening thing in a fight. Sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one who understands exactly what's happening. That becomes especially apparent when you realize how difficult it would be to trick her. Many characters rely on surprise attacks, hidden abilities, or deception. Against Semiyu, that becomes much harder because her entire skill set revolves around detecting details. She's the kind of person who notices the one thing that doesn't belong. There's also something really satisfying about how practical her powers feel. Some manga abilities are cool, but you can only imagine using them in battle. Some usability would be useful literally every day. Investigations, research, tracking people, identifying threats, finding clues. There are endless applications for what she can do. In a weird way, her ability almost feels like a detective power that accidentally became a combat ability. You could drop Semiyu into a mystery series and she'd fit right in. Then you could drop her into a massive battle arc and she'd still be effective. That's a level of versatility that very few powers have. I also think her ability perfectly fits one of Gachiakuta's biggest themes. The series constantly asks readers to look beyond appearance. Trash isn't always trash. People aren't always who they seem to be. The world itself is hiding secrets beneath the surface. Semi-use power is literally built around seeing beneath the surface. It couldn't be more fitting. The more the story expands, the more valuable characters like Semiyu become. Early in the series, raw power often gets most of the attention. Later on, information becomes just as important. Knowing where to go, who to trust, and what hidden dangers exist can completely change the outcome of an arc. Semiyu is one of the characters who provides that information, and honestly, I think that's why so many fans end up liking her more as the story progresses. She isn't the loudest character, she isn't constantly in the spotlight, but every time she appears, she contributes something meaningful, whether it's uncovering a clue, helping the cleaners understand the situation, or revealing details nobody else noticed. She always feels important. At the end of the day, Semiu's glasses are the perfect example of what makes Gachiakuta's power system so creative. Most authors would look at a pair of glasses and never even consider turning them into a top tier ability. Kai Urana looked at the same object and created a power that can investigate mysteries, predict danger, dominate fights, reveal hidden truths, and deepen the story's biggest secrets. That's why Semiu doesn't just have a good ability, she has one of the most creative powers in all of Gachiakuta.